Zagros Mountains, northern Iran, 9 in the morning. 70 U.S. Army Rangers from the 75th Ranger Regiment were advancing toward their target on foot through rugged mountain terrain. The target was an ammunition production facility hidden inside the mountain. The Iranians manufactured artillery shells and rockets there day and night. For 2 months, American intelligence had been monitoring this facility through satellite surveillance and electronic intercepts. This facility was extremely important for Iran's weapons production. Intelligence analysts had tracked shipments of raw materials arriving monthly and calculated how much ammunition was being produced inside. According to their analysis, it operated continuously, producing ammunition for Iranian forces and regional allies. The facility occupied 3 levels, carved 100 meters into the mountain. The upper level contained the main production floor, where assembly lines manufactured artillery shells and rocket ammunition. Workers operated machinery that formed shell casings and filled projectiles with explosives. Iranian engineers had organized the production into 4 separate lines. The first line produced 155mm artillery shells, while the second line manufactured 122mm rocket ammunition. The third line assembled mortar rounds, and the fourth line produced anti-tank rocket warheads. In total, the facility could manufacture 50,000 rounds per month. The middle level housed quality control testing and storage areas. Completed ammunition underwent inspection before being moved to storage bunkers. Additionally, the storage area held 200,000 finished rounds ready for distribution to Iranian military units across the region. The lowest level served as the facility command center and contained the chemical mixing rooms where explosive compounds were prepared. 60 chemists and explosive specialists worked in controlled environments, preparing the explosives that went inside each shell. Meanwhile, the command center monitored all production operations. Access to these 3 sections came through 3 tunnel entrances on different sides of the mountain. The main entrance on the western slope allowed truck deliveries of raw materials and removal of finished ammunition. The eastern entrance served as the personnel access point. The northern entrance provided emergency exit and ventilation for the chemical processing areas. All 3 entrances featured reinforced steel doors and concrete defenses. Outside the facility, Revolutionary Guard forces had established defensive positions. On the western approach, 60 soldiers manned fighting positions. Another 40 soldiers defended the eastern personnel entrance, while 30 additional soldiers protected the northern chemical processing entrance. The commander believed these defenses made the facility secure from any attack, but American intelligence identified critical weaknesses in this facility. It depended entirely on the 3 tunnel entrances. These were the only way in or out. Destroying the production equipment would cripple Iran's ammunition manufacturing capability. Most importantly, the 200,000 rounds in storage presented a massive explosion risk if hit. 4 days before the operation, the mission was assigned to 70 Rangers who were organized into 4 teams with distinct objectives. Alpha Team would assault the western main entrance and fight through to the production level. Bravo Team would breach the eastern personnel entrance and secure the middle storage level. Charlie Team would assault the northern chemical entrance and reach the lower level. Meanwhile, Delta Team would suppress the outer defensive positions and secure the perimeter. The operation required precise timing. Therefore, the plan called for all 4 teams to strike simultaneously at 9:30. Earlier that morning at 6, 4 Black Hawk helicopters had lifted off carrying the Rangers toward their target. 2 Apache attack helicopters provided escort. After 2 hours of low-altitude flying through mountain valleys, at 8 the helicopters landed 7 kilometers from the facility. Upon landing, the Rangers moved out immediately, splitting into their assigned teams. Once organized, they moved carefully but quickly across the terrain, using trees and rocks for cover. The 4 teams spread out across the terrain. Alpha Team, consisting of 25 Rangers, headed toward the western main entrance. At the same time, Bravo Team with 20 Rangers moved toward the eastern personnel entrance. Charlie Team with 15 Rangers approached the northern chemical entrance. Meanwhile, Delta Team with 10 Rangers climbed to elevated positions overlooking all 3 approaches. All 4 teams covered the 7 kilometers in 65 minutes, reaching their assault positions at 9:20. Upon arrival, they took cover behind boulders, observing the Iranian defensive positions through their scopes. The sentries walked their post routinely, while soldiers in fighting positions watched the valleys below, completely unaware of the Rangers positioned above them. At 9:30 precisely, the 2 Apache helicopters appeared over the mountain ridge. Without warning, they immediately engaged the outer defensive positions with rockets and cannon fire. Within seconds, explosions erupted across the mountainside as the helicopters systematically destroyed fighting positions and patrol posts. The Iranian defenders scrambled for cover as the sudden attack began. Simultaneously with the Apache attack, Delta Team opened fire from their elevated positions. Their fire was devastatingly accurate. Iranian soldiers attempting to return fire found themselves caught in a deadly crossfire between helicopter rockets from above and precise rifle fire from the Rangers. The outer defenses collapsed within 15 minutes under this combined assault. assault. Approximately 50 Iranian soldiers were neutralized, and survivors retreated toward the tunnel entrances or took cover among the rocks. However, the scattered defenders were too disorganized to mount any effective resistance. Taking advantage of this confusion, Delta Team continued their suppressive fire, preventing any reinforcements from reaching the entrances. While Delta Team suppressed the outer defenses successfully, the three assault teams moved quickly toward their designated tunnel objectives. As they approached, they found heavy steel doors protecting all three entrances. Furthermore, the western main entrance was defended by 20 Iranian soldiers. The eastern personnel entrance had 15 defenders, and the northern chemical entrance had 12 soldiers. Alpha Team reached the western main entrance first. The team leader quickly directed his Rangers to take positions on both sides of the approach. The defenders were positioned around the entrance with heavy weapons. A fierce firefight erupted as the Rangers engaged the defenders. However, their superior training and accurate fire quickly overwhelmed the Iranian position. After 7 minutes of intense fighting, all 20 defenders were neutralized. The Rangers immediately moved into the entrance, advancing deeper into the facility. At the same time, Bravo Team assaulted the eastern entrance with the same approach. The team leader coordinated his attack to hit seconds after Alpha Team engaged. Heavy gunfire erupted as both sides engaged. After 8 minutes of fighting, the surviving Iranian defenders broke and retreated into the tunnel. Bravo Team immediately followed them inside, pursuing the fleeing soldiers deeper into the facility. Meanwhile, Charlie Team faced the most challenging entrance at the northern chemical processing access. This entrance had more defenders aware of the dangerous materials inside. The Rangers engaged the defenders in a careful firefight to avoid hitting chemical storage. The fighting lasted 9 minutes. 8 defenders were neutralized while the remaining 4 surrendered immediately. Charlie Team secured the entrance and advanced into the facility. With all 3 entrances secured at 9:55, the teams prepared to advance. All 3 teams knew Iranian personnel remained ahead. Alpha Team immediately entered the main tunnel and found a wide corridor sloping gently upward toward the production level. The team leader positioned his Rangers in tactical formation, and they advanced carefully. 40 meters into the tunnel, they encountered the first resistance when 15 Iranian security guards opened fire. The firefight in the confined tunnel was brief but intense. Their superior training and equipment proved decisive as they maneuvered around the defensive position and neutralized the guards within 4 minutes. Continuing their advance, the team encountered 2 more defensive positions before reaching the production level entrance. Each position was quickly overwhelmed through coordinated fire and movement. At 10:15, Alpha Team burst onto the production floor. The massive chamber extended 200 meters in length, with 4 assembly lines running parallel. Throughout the chamber, partially completed ammunition sat at various assembly stations. Crates of finished shells stood ready for transport. Iranian workers had scattered, but 40 armed guards were attempting to defend the production floor. The guards fought from cover among the assembly lines. After 14 minutes of fighting, the last defenders were neutralized, and Alpha Team controlled the entire production floor. 30 production workers surrendered without resistance. The Rangers began documenting the production equipment with cameras, while demolition specialists started placing charges. The specialists positioned thermite charges on critical equipment. The charges would burn at extreme temperatures, melting tools beyond repair. Meanwhile, Bravo Team was advancing through the eastern tunnel toward the storage level. The tunnel descended gradually and was lined with safety warnings about explosive materials. As they advanced, they encountered moderate resistance from guards who understood the critical importance of protecting the ammunition stockpile. The Rangers neutralized the defenders within 4 minutes and continued toward the storage level. At 10:20, Bravo Team reached the storage level entrance and entered the enormous cavern filled with ammunition. Artillery shells occupied one area with crates stacked floor to ceiling. Rocket ammunition filled another section. Mortar rounds lined the walls. When the Rangers entered, 20 guards were attempting to set demolition charges on the ammunition stockpile to destroy it. The Rangers engaged immediately, neutralizing the guards before they could complete their sabotage. After securing the area, the Rangers counted the ammunition. The stockpile contained approximately 200,000 rounds of various types. This ammunition represented months of production output. The demolition specialists faced a critical decision. Detonating 200,000 rounds would create an explosion that could bring down the entire mountain. Instead, they positioned thermite charges to burn the ammunition slowly. The intense heat would melt the shells and cook off the explosives gradually, rather than creating a single massive detonation. While Alpha and Bravo teams secured their objectives above, Charlie Team descended the northern tunnel toward the chemical processing level. The tunnel walls displayed hazard warnings, and the air smelled of chemical compounds. As they advanced, they encountered fierce resistance from guards who fought to prevent contamination. After 6 minutes of intense fighting, the Rangers neutralized the Iranian soldiers and continued their advance. At 10:35, Charlie Team reached the chemical processing area. The team leader directed Rangers forward carefully, aware of the hazardous materials. They entered to find a complex complex of laboratories and mixing rooms. Inside the processing area, 30 chemists and explosive specialists worked at their stations while 15 guards attempted to defend them. When the Rangers entered, several chemists tried to trigger emergency chemical releases. The Rangers moved quickly, neutralizing the guards and securing the chemists before they could cause catastrophic damage. After the area was secure, the chemists surrendered. Intelligence specialists began photographing the chemical processes and equipment. The Rangers discovered detailed formulas and procedures for explosive compound production. With the chemical area secure, all objectives were complete. By 11, all 3 teams had secured their objectives. Alpha Team controlled the production floor with its manufacturing equipment. Bravo Team held the storage level with the stockpile. Charlie Team secured the chemical processing area. Delta Team maintained control of the outer perimeter. Now came the destruction phase. Demolition specialists from all 3 teams coordinated their efforts through radio communication. On the production floor, thermite charges had been placed on all 4 assembly lines. In the storage level, thermite charges were positioned to burn the ammunition stockpile. In the chemical processing area, specialists prepared charges to destroy the mixing equipment. At 11:15, the team leaders ordered all Rangers to evacuate the facility. The teams moved quickly back toward the entrances, bringing the 30 surrendered chemists and production workers as prisoners. 6 Rangers had sustained minor injuries during the assaults, but all could walk without assistance. By 11:35, all 70 Rangers and 30 prisoners were clear of the facility. The 4 Black Hawk helicopters returned, landing in a clearing 600 meters from the facility. The 2 Apaches circled overhead, maintaining overwatch during the extraction. At 11:45, the demolition order was given. All charges detonated in sequence. The thermite charges ignited instantly across all 3 levels. In the production floor, intense heat melted the assembly lines. In the storage level, rounds began cooking off in rapid succession as thermite burned through the ammunition stockpile. In the chemical processing area, explosive charges destroyed the mixing equipment. Within 10 minutes, the entire facility was destroyed. With the facility destroyed, extraction began. At noon, the Rangers and 30 prisoners boarded the Black Hawk helicopters. The helicopters lifted off and flew back through the mountain valleys at low altitude. The operation's toll was clear. Iranian personnel losses totaled approximately 130 across all defensive positions and inside the facility. American forces sustained 6 minor injuries. 30 chemists and production workers were captured. The ammunition production facility had been completely destroyed. The Rangers had accomplished their mission.